That's okay, no, I got it. All right. You're talking.
You're working. You're on the clock.
I make you start
December anyway, maybe January.
It is what it is for this time of year.
I don't know what's in one round. And that French probably is, because it says on the
No, I'm a bear. I had back on past Friday and Saturday. I had hair hydrated, get some those people are coming. No trouble with that.
At a dentist, or
That's what I thought.
we both understand.
That would be great.
I don't know whether they might have belonged to that.
Well, you know,
I saw that was usually is. Said no woman ever left me here for her to chase you down here. Over there. You'll tell me later, I'm sure.
are you just putting that on there in case we just in case?
Hey, John Becker.
That's okay.
Well.
No, for you, not forgetting the
Doing an excellent job.
I need to.
If I can hide, I can go along.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will please call the roll.
Commissioners Craycraft.
Present.
Ashley.
Here.
Constantopoulos.
Present.
Wade.
Here.
Davis.
Present.
And Miller.
Present.
And I'd like to welcome Mr. Scott Ogle from the Central Baptist Church. Will lead us in the invocation, and please remain standing for the pledge.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your mercy to us today. Lord, we look at other parts of our country just devastated by flood and wind, and Lord, today we have a lot to be thankful for. We acknowledge that. Lord, I thank you for your sovereign direction of this planet. Lord, I thank you for those that you've appointed here in this room. God, I pray, Lord, that you would use them. Lord, that you would give them wisdom. Lord, that you would bring about the flourishing of Clark County. Lord, that you would have your way here so that you might be glorified. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If it pleases this court, I would like to make one small change on the agenda. We're going to move item 12B up to right now. It is a proclamation awarded to Mr. Tim Smith.
If the court and the audience will bear with me, we have a short video and then we'll do the proclamation. Get it up for Shannon.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do this again.
At least we can stare at you.
It started for me when Reed Anderson gave a 14-year-old high school freshman job at his old camp station at WEC Land. My uncle did ball games for Reed Anderson at WEC Land. And I would go, he thought I had a good radio voice. And he said, he called me one day and he said, I want you to go see Reed Anderson on a Wednesday afternoon after school.
Tim, you're familiar with technical difficulties, aren't you?
Yeah. But I'm glad that picture took down.
I've done this 10 times and now it always works.
That's the way it always is.
So the spirit of technical difficulties.
Just keep punching buttons.
How many had touched me? There's not a button I haven't touched yet. Talks and the talk means helps. This is crazy.
For some reason, it's just not blinking to that. We'll just go back to the agenda.
this.
Let's give her a second here.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to get that up. I wonder if it's something to do with that Bluetooth.
Trying to play it through PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Just play it directly from the video file versus through PowerPoint.
Well, the file's in the PowerPoint. It's locked up.
Yeah, the computer's frozen.
Well, let's go ahead and do the
Do the
proclamation.
proclamation, then let her reboot real quick.
Volunteer, Tim. In light of technical difficulties, we will go ahead and read this.
I don't know how to small type.
Well, I know, I barely read it. But what we have is we want to recognize Tim Smith today for his induction into the Kentucky Broadcasters Hall of Fame and 50 years of radio excellence. Now, quite honestly, when I did this, I knew it was 50. I didn't know 50 what, but he told me a while ago it was actually 54. But 50 rolls off your tongue real good. So we're going to say 50 and whatever it is, it is. Proclamation of the Clark County Fiscal Court recognizing Tim Smith's induction into the Kentucky Broadcasters Hall of Fame and celebrating 50 years of radio excellence. Whereas Tim Smith has dedicated 5 years of his life to the art and craft of radio broadcasting, providing invaluable service to the people of Clark County and beyond. And whereas Tim Smith's career in radio has been marked by professionalism, a commitment to journalistic integrity, and an unwavering dedication to delivering timely and accurate information to his community. And whereas Tim Smith has not only been a voice that informs, but also a beacon that connects, entertains, and unites the community through countless hours of programming, interviews, and local coverage. And whereas Tim Smith's contributions have helped to elevate the standard of radio broadcasting in Kentucky, fostering a legacy of excellence that has culminated in his induction into the prestigious Kentucky Broadcasters Hall of Fame. And whereas the induction represents not only an individual achievement, but also reflects the deep respect and admiration held for Tim by his peers, listeners, and the broadcasting community at large. And whereas Tim Smith's 50 years in radio exemplify a lifetime of dedication, passion, and service deserving of the highest recognition. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clark County Fiscal Court on this day officially recognizes and congratulates Tim Smith for his induction into the Kentucky Broadcasters Hall of Fame and extends its heartfelt appreciation for his 50 years of outstanding contributions to the field of radio broadcasting. Furthermore, we honor Tim Smith's lasting impact on our community and we express our gratitude for his continuous service and dedication to his craft, which has enriched the lives of countless individuals in the field of radio, countless individuals in Clark County and beyond. We appreciate everything you've done.
Now hold it yourself now.
Of course, he wants to say a few words, so.
I had surgery yesterday, and the anesthetic was good stuff, and it's still there. So I hope y'all can understand me. I wanted to say something about EMT. I had a stroke June 18th this year, and the call to 911 went in, and right now the ambulance was in the driveway, and they saved me. They got me to Clark Regional, and Clark Regional airlifted me to neurology and neurology at UK. But those guys are great, and I wanted to say something about them.
Thank you.
me, and when Reed Anderson gave a 14-year-old high school freshman job at his hometown station at WCYN. My uncle did ball games for Reed Anderson at WCYN, and I would go. He thought I had a good radio voice, and he said, he called me one day and he said, I want you to go see Reed Anderson on a Wednesday afternoon after school, and I did. We had an Associated Press machine. He went in and ripped off the 5-minute news summary and said, read this to me, and I did. He said, can you start Saturday? That's how it went. I'm not unlike a lot of people sitting in this room tonight. I'm a small town, small market broadcaster. And I do a live morning show called Mornings on Main. And it's a chat, it's a conversation, it's not an interview. I don't have a list of interview questions. So a guy comes up to me and he said, I like listening to you because you're not professional like those other guys. I actually had to pick it as a compliment because that's exactly what it was we wanted to be. We bring people into the studio, sit them in there and talk about what they want to talk about. It can be their work, it can be their church, it can be their civic organization. Gosh, I brought the Bass Fishing team in for Clark County, and they slept through most of the program. That was a good one. And me and my knowledge of fishing. So we had a lot of dead hairs that morning.
He used to run 1380 here in Winchester. I don't really think it was a show, but there used to be a trivia contest or somewhat of a contest where you had to guess the word or something, and I would try to call that thing at least 25 times every time. And I was finally told to stop calling.
My family, my wife and 2 boys have been with me for the whole radio ride, and there were times I wouldn't be home for several days because I was either at the radio station or doing something for the radios. And I missed a lot of stuff.
Dad never missed any events. Work never got in the way of that, is what I would say. He really was there for my brother and I all the time, and he was a very supportive father. His work ethic is unmatched. My father would get up at 4 in the morning every morning. He would make breakfast for us when we were kids. He would take us to school. He would go be on the air. He would come get us from school so we didn't have to ride the bus.
I knew something funny was going on because Tom McMakin came in with him, and this was prior to 8 o'clock in the morning. You don't see Tom prior to 8 o'clock in the morning.
I couldn't be more proud, both personally and professionally, to be here and to be the one to tell you that on behalf of the Kentucky Broadcasters Association and KBA's Legacy Awards Committee, Tim Smith has been unanimously chosen to be inducted into the Kentucky Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm not great.
What about that?
The Hall of Fame has always been something that I don't think he even realized he could obtain, and it's an honor that he definitely deserves.
I shivered and shook and thought that how could this be, and how undeserving, you know.
He was so excited that day, and unfortunately,
I had a stroke and a brain aneurysm.
and that's somewhat of the driving force to say, hey, we're going to beat this because you've got to be at the Hall of Fame September 30th. So he's very excited.
I want to say what an honor it is to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, particularly with this class. Got Bill Bryant, Dave Shepard, Tom Leach, Gene Burke, all great broadcasters.
Said he's not going in alone. He's taking our family and the whole city of Winchester and probably Cynthiana is what he would say too, into the Hall of Fame.
Tim, I have to see you maybe in that photograph.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. So, next item will be item 5A is approval of the minutes for September the 24th.
Motion to approve.
A motion is second.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is approval of the minutes for September the 26th and 24th.
Motion to
motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item will be approval of the budget transfers.
B1,
Yes, sir. P1.
motion approved.
Second. Been motion is second, any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the cash transfers, item 7, there is 2 of those.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Both of them.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve and a second, any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item will be number 8, will be approval of the bills list.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Next item is approval of the supplemental bills list. No, I'm sorry, there is none. So no action on that. Item number 10 is the pre-authorized bills for September the 24th, 27th, and October the 2nd. Is there a motion? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Next item on the agenda is going to be public comments. And we have Will Mayer first.
Thank you, Judge, Magistrates. My name is Will Mayer. I'm the Executive Director of Park Coalition. Park Coalition is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to advance smart growth, sustainable economic development, and government transparency in Winchester and Clark County. Earlier this week, Clark Coalition released a position statement in response to Magistrate Davis's call for a review of the zoning ordinance at last month's Planning Commission meeting, and specifically referencing his comments to, quote, do away with, referring to the zoning ordinance. Each of you has a copy of this position statement in front of you. If you haven't read it, I would encourage you to read it. It contains not only a recount of that meeting, but also important data and research to inform growth in our community. Since that meeting earlier this week, Magistrate Davis has attempted to explain his comments, to walk them back, saying that he didn't intend to suggest doing away with the zoning ordinance, but I would like to take this opportunity to just point out what was said exactly. And he said, referring to the Planning Commission, I think you can play a part by looking at the ordinance and coming back to the Fiscal Court and the City Commission and saying, hey, here are our recommendations on what we think you ought to consider modernizing, changing, maybe doing away with completely. I don't know where that would take us. And I think that last line really reflects the intention, because if he had been referring to doing away with multiple plural ordinances, where that would take us would be obvious. We would just have fewer zoning ordinances. But the intent was doing away with the zoning ordinance. There were a number of other comments that were made by Magistrate Davis in that meeting that I think require an examination. And some of those, just setting the baseline for this discussion about growth, talking about Fayette County. You know, our rents are a little lower, but not much. Our home prices are a little lower, but not by that much. Let's look at the data. You know, home sales in Clark County, on average over the last year, are 32% less than those in Fayette County. That's significant. I think we need to be honest in our assessment when we're, you know, proposing public policy with what the data are. Median gross rent, 24%, the Census Bureau from 2018 to 2022 shows that it's 24% less than in Fayette County. Look at today, this is from Zillow, so this is a different source, but it's 56% less than in Fayette County. Data is important, okay? There was a lot of other discussion in Magistrate Davis's comments about, you know, infill and all the, quote, happy talk about infill. I would point out that the city of Winchester has earlier this year passed an ordinance concerning blighted and abandoned property to deal with this issue and to encourage redevelopment where it should take place, where existing infrastructure already is and where it's been paid for by taxpayers. So I think it's somewhat of a misdirection for Magistrate Davis to talk about infill because frankly that's not the county's purview, it's the city of Winchester's purview. And in understanding the context of what Magistrate Davis wants for growth in this community, you know, sprawling development out into the county, that doesn't conform to the vision of the public, as stated not just through this most recent comprehensive plan, but through multiple past iterations of the comprehensive plan, and also the principles of sound land use planning, which shows that growth should take place contiguous. That means adjacent to existing growth, existing development. So I would draw your attention finally to the process. If a magistrate would like for our joint planning commission to review the zoning ordinance or to take any action, that should really originate here at the fiscal court with a resolution to do so. And I think the most appropriate thing, because it is a joint body between the city and the county, is for it to take place in coordination with the city. So I'll leave you with that. We are here, this is not personal, this is policy. And I don't want anyone to mistake this as an attack, because that's not what it is. This is accountability. And I think it's our responsibility as citizens, when policy is proposed that does not align with the vision of the community, to stand up and oppose it. You know, Park Coalition will remain vigilant on this. We will continue to advocate for good growth, good jobs, and good government. Thank you for your time and your service to our community.
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Rowan.
Judge, if I'm here for item 15B, and I'd like to reserve my comments for that. Thank you.
Next will be department head comments, Clark County Road Department.
Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to give you guys an update real quick. You know, we had the remnants of the windstorm from the hurricane come through. That Friday was pretty devastating for the community. We had 54 roads blocked out of the 300, and in 7 hours, the crew had every one of those roads open to traffic. Took about 70 man hours to clean it up. As of this morning, we're 98 trees, 69 dump truck loads of tree debris and brush. We have 7 roads that they're open, but we're cleaning up, you know, along the side of them. We should be done today. That was all done by 8 employees, and I just want to make sure that they get a shout out, because I'm really, really proud of them. They came in with good attitude, and they done a phenomenal job. The community rewarded their efforts. They had 978 likes on Facebook posts about it, over 274 comments. Very few of those were actually a reply, so that was, regular comments. So hopefully we'll be done today. We're keeping track. I've worked with the EM director. We're keeping track of all this stuff in the event there's any type of reimbursement for our cubic yards, debris, man hours, equipment hours, all that stuff. Unfortunately, we're not a stranger to this, are we, Steve?
No, sir.
So we've got all that ready to go in the event we get some of that funding back. The last thing I want to bring your attention, the judge and I have had a few discussions. We have a deadline of October 15th for the new CPP funding. I appreciate everybody in this room has probably sent me an email over it. I appreciate you looking out for the community. It means you're staying in tune to what's going on with the road department. And we, in part, are successful because of what gets accomplished in this room. However, the deadline is October 15th, and it does require the judge's signature. So what we done, I had a pretty lengthy conversation with the Commissioner of Rural Roads, and after the email from KCO and the ones you guys have sent, and some of the judges sent, as well, what we done after we went through and did our road inspection for the year, we came up with 39 total roads that stand to be paid. This funding is critical for the next 2 years. So when the legislation goes back into session, that's when they're going to start making these decisions. They have a deadline in Frankfurt of November 15th, I believe. So I need the fiscal court to authorize the judge to sign this paperwork. It's 11 pages. He's got to sign it one time. And it's a total of $4.2 million worth of potential paving that we could stand to get. I don't know how that's going to get divvied up among the 20 counties. It's $25 million per fiscal year. But they're going to be making those decisions next month. Hopefully, we're going to get a pretty good slice of that pie. And I think it was 39 total roads that's going to be sent in on that list. And if it works the same as the old discretionary request, you remember last year we sent in like 6 roads, they picked 1, right? So you can try to give them priority numbers, but I don't think they really look at that as much as they do the actual monetary value of what you're asking for. So I'm going to ask.
You need a motion to approve the CPP funding list and have the judge sign today?
I would prefer today, because when I talked to the commissioner, I told her that I would try to get it to her by this afternoon, because they like to look over it, make sure there's no issues, so they can forward it on to the state. And today's what, the 9th or 10th, so I mean we're cutting it really close. And I mean she called me personally and said, hey, you usually got your request in, and I'm like, well, we've got to go through the motions. So that's all I had. So if we could address that and either magistrate comments or now, however you want to do it, Judge. I just need him to sign it. I'll print it off. And it's
CPP stands for
County Priority Paving Projects.
So I'll make a motion that we approve Allen's CPP funding list and have the judge sign today so that they can be turned into the state.
And it's a standard, it's a transportation cabinet form, 20-41, so that's all I had. Thank you.
I second that.
Had a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? I just have one question. Who picked out the 39 roads?
I mean, it's just done through road inspections, me. I've done it every year for the last 6 years.
The road committee have that haven't been paved in
long time,
last 8 to 10 years, and everything.
Some of them 40 and 50 years. Yeah, I mean, it went through the road committee. I mean, they look at the list.
We didn't prioritize, we put them all on there.
Yeah.
So this is off the whole list, this isn't
This is all.
This isn't pick and choose, this is all.
No, this is all.
Okay, that's what I thought you said.
This is all of
That's
them.
what I thought you said.
This includes gravel roads as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said all.
And using our flex funds as a
I thought you
match.
said all, okay.
Sorry, I wasn't real clear.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is Chief Astley.
Good morning. I'm here to ask for a motion to apply and accept a training facility grant from Kentucky Fire Commission. This is an ongoing grant for our training facility. We're going to ask for $50,000. It is a non-matching grant. So I would ask for a motion to apply and accept. Yeah, we're going for an interview on Monday to ask for the grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's for 50,000? 50,000?
Yes, sir, we're going to ask for up to 50.
Next item on the agenda will be, oh, I'm sorry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda will be a presentation by the Clark County homemakers.
Thank you, Judge. I'm here representing the Clark County Homemakers. Our organization has over 200 members in the county, and each year we have a number of volunteer hours that are turned in. Some people turn in hundreds of hours, others may not turn in but a few, but I just want you to know we presented a faux check to your judge, Judge Yates, at our August meeting. At this meeting, we had 18,715 hours turned in. This is a great value to our community because most of those from the Clark County Homemakers were in our community. So our organization is a big supporter of Clark County and of Winchester. So I just wanted to come and let people be aware. Our organization, we have, like I said, over 200 members. We're always looking for new members, and we are a lot more than just homemakers. We also get out and present to our community, which we value greatly. And so this faux check was presented to Judge Yates for a value of $533,938.95. That is the value of our volunteer hours from Clark County Homemakers. So I just want the county to know that we love you, we appreciate you, and we're working within you. So if any of you meet anyone from the Extension Office, this is where our base is. Shonda Johnson is our Family Consumer Science agent who does a great job in supporting our county. And I appreciate this time, and thank you so much.
You might introduce yourself for those watching for us.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should have done it. As you can tell, this is my first time I've been here. My name is Pat Skinamone, and I have the pleasure of being Clark County Homemaker President. I have been for the last 2 years. This will be my last year serving, but it has been an honor. I have been in that position before, and it is always an honor to represent our organization. And like I said, if you hear of anyone volunteering, whether it be the Beer Cheese, whether it be the Diamond Festival, any of those, please know that our homemakers are working.
Could we get a picture? You present the check?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Neil, would you take a picture for us?
Yes.
And we do realize this is a faux check, but this is the value. Over $500,000 for that.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Say cheese.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Pat, before you step down, could you tell the constituents that are listening and hear some of the things that you all do? So if you're looking for more recruits to come in, what kind of activities are those hours that are being done?
These hours represent also things that we do within our school system. We also have a program called Recipe for Life that is presented to all fifth graders in our county, and it shows them how to use cooking skills and skills that are available. We also have things with our organization that, just like this past week, many of our members volunteered at the Fall Festival at the Extension office. We always say sometimes Extension is our best kept secret. So a lot of those things, the Beer Cheese Festival, the homemakers always register all the professional and amateur. So we have a lot of things. Whenever the community is involved, you can be assured there are going to be representatives from our homemakers there to represent.
Thank you, Ms. Patton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item will be an update on the Clark County Fair Board by Mr. Frank Hicks.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for having me this morning. I've been involved with the Clark County Fair at some level since 1971. I'm currently serving as Vice President of the Clark County Fair Board. The Clark County Fair Board is a coalition of dedicated volunteers who work part-time, year-round to conduct an entertaining and educational event for the people of Clark County. It's my understanding that prior to the late 1960s, the fair was held in a variety of locations in and around Winchester. In about 1968, an agreement was reached to lease a portion of the land known as the county farm for the development of fairgrounds. And an annual fair has been held there each year since, except we missed 1 year at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many county fairs serve as a fundraiser for some club or organization. Ours does not. All the revenue from the fair is returned to build and maintain the facilities. The facilities that have developed over the years are beginning to show their age. We have applied for a grant from the Kentucky Division of Fairs and Shows, but those funds are limited and much in demand. The grounds and the primary meeting space is available for community activities throughout the year, and is rented many weekends for family events such as weddings, birthday parties, that sort of thing. The roof of that building is becoming difficult to maintain and needs space work, with estimates ranging from $5,000 to $25,000. The main show ring fence, which is a major factor in the appearance of the ground, is wearing out. We have been quoted prices to replace that fence of $11,000 or $12,000. The lights for that ring are many years old, and to upgrade them to modern energy efficient LED lights is estimated to cost about $7,600. The Fair Board budget allows for normal maintenance and utilities, but $20,000 or $30,000 of capital expenditures is a bit of a stretch. It's been suggested that these might be the sort of things that ARPA funds are meant to address, and any help you can give us on that would be much appreciated. You have questions for me?
Is the Fair Board a nonprofit?
Very much so.
That's what I thought. You didn't say that, but I wanted you to say that.
When are the meetings, Mr. Hicks?
So again,
When are your meetings?
Second Tuesday.
We had one last night.
Typically, that gets shifted on occasion, but it's typically the second Tuesday at 6:30. And sometimes we meet at the fairgrounds, sometimes we meet at the extension office.
Is there an email that goes out?
Yes.
Is there any way we can get on that email?
There's our president right there, Melissa Clark.
Melissa Clark's our fair board president. She handles a lot of our correspondence, does a lot of things that nobody else wants to do.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Hicks, I appreciate you coming today. I wanted to ask you, because I know I helped to try to coordinate the Overlander group that wanted to possibly work out a time next spring. Have they been able to work out anything with the board on?
I don't believe we've been contacted.
Not heard anything.
I did provide them with your number, Mr. Clark. Mr. Hicks met us out there. It's one of the companies involved is actually a local business, and they sell these customized Overlander. All these people that are putting like camping equipment, mounting it on the top of the trucks, SUVs, Land Cruisers, modify these vehicles. I mean, some of these people are spending $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. So they wanted to have basically a trade show. Needed a big space like the fairgrounds in order to have that, have the companies and vendors come in and rent space. So we hope we can make that work, but I know you all have other activities out there that you rent space to. I think they did seem interested when they were out
They
there
did,
that morning.
but they have not contacted us. And if you're talking with them, they need to give us a call soon, because dates do fill up with events that are planned ahead of time.
We'll remind them.
Frank, how much was the total of what prices you had estimates on, a ballpark figure?
22,600.
Has the attendance at the fair held pretty steady? I know horse shows is way down.
The horse shows way down. At one time, in fact, our official title is Clark County Fair and Horse Show. When the grounds were developed, the horse show was a big part of the deal.
Right.
Those kinds of horse shows have kind of gone away.
Right.
We still have a horse show, but it's just a local family fun kind of thing. Attendance, we haven't quite recovered from a pandemic. We lost a year and that kind of broke a habit. But attendance is down a little from what it was.
Demolition Derby still the big.
The demolition's a big draw. I jokingly say that's our premier educational event. But it pays more bills than anything else. So it's always a big night.
Mr. Hicks, do you know what the reason is that the horse shows have fallen off? It's like anything, any groups or?
Well, the walking horse show was a big thing. The walking horse people got in trouble with maybe doing some things that they shouldn't have been doing to their horses, and have just almost gone out of business. The contest events, the shovel ride, and those kinds of things that we used to do. Teenage boys have four-wheelers now instead of horses. So it's not just here, but everywhere. The horse show as such is not the draw that it once was.
Thank you so much.
Do you have a number, or do you know what your average is, your average draw is, Mr. Hicks?
Attendance at the fair in a range of 5,000. And our total annual budget is in the range of 95,000. About half of that comes from the fair itself, and about half of it is rentals of the facility in other towns.
And cycling back to Magistrate Blaine's question on the $22,600, are you just, on that roof, you gave the number of 5 to 25, or are you just looking for a minimal repair at this point?
I think what we've talked about, we've looked at several things. We've talked to the fellow who says he can replace fasteners and caulk seams for about $5,000. That should, in the short run anyway, take care of that problem.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item, 13A, this is the information only. The Monday morning memos from the Clark County Industrial Authority for September 26th, 23rd, the EMAC set meeting agenda minutes for September the 9th, and the Clark County Jail monthly report for September 24th. Next item will be,
I'm gonna make a comment. Ernie, could you stand up and tell us why the numbers are down a little bit?
them down, and we're building back from when our HVA system completely failed. At the moment, we have 81 state inmates, 11 out-of-county inmates, and 2 federal inmates, as well as the balance makes up local inmates for a total of 197. So we're building them back. Frank and I got a call yesterday from a jailer in Jackson County that he had 15 more state inmates than he needed, and we said, well, gosh, we'll help you. So we're going to start pulling those in this week and hopefully have them all in. We traded one level inmate, which is a worker, for 15. So, but we're doing everything we can. The state is releasing a lot before their sentences are served. They're sending them to rehab. And then unfortunately, if they reoffend, they come back as a county inmate and we start the process over again. So it's the same struggle that every jail for the last 10 years had, and maybe more. And we'll just continue to hit it and try to do more revenue.
Thank you for clarification. Thank you.
You said 81 federal, 11 out of county?
No, 81 state, 11 out of county, and 2 federal. And the federal's been the hardest to get back. But right now, all the new arrests are coming to us in the local area. So, and there's other federal agencies that use our services, and this week I've started making inroads to say, okay, because if they're a federal inmate, it doesn't mean they're a U.S. Marshal inmate. So, our taxpayers don't get compensated. So I reached out to Congressman Barr's office and working with his staff to say, how do I get contracts with the DEA? How do I get contracts with the U.S. Postal Service? These people so that we, the Clark County taxpayers not bearing that expense. So, more questions? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Next item is this is just to close out the old lease agreement on the boiler at the jail, the one that had failed and got replaced. So it's this, that boiler is paid off, so this is to give me permission to sign this lease agreement to end it, close it out, I guess. So that's item under discussion there for the CAGO. So I guess we just need a motion to close that out.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any more discussion?
Sorry.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Then we have some notes and amendments for salary list for the Clark County employees and the treasurer's report for September the 2024. Next item on the agenda is the first reading of an ordinance of the Clark County Fiscal Court transferring 911 fees from landlines to water meters. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
The only comment I had is the effective date, and I'm not sure I mentioned this earlier to the county attorney. If we can do it upon passage, because the utility company and the phone company will both need time to update their files and start it, so if someone has a suggested date besides immediately, that may be considered. Would you concur with that, Mr. County Attorney?
I think it's a difficult date to target on it because until it becomes effective, you couldn't begin the work.
So we maybe add another section effective immediately with.
Wouldn't hurt.
Could you add that language to it for the second reading? Make it. Anybody have a suggested date?
I think we need to at least give them a month or two.
90 days.
90 days.
One thing that's certain.
January 1.
January 1.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Fair.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
One thing that surfaced yesterday was an email from the phone company. And just, it was the first contact that we had. And I'm not sure what they're asking. I emailed them back. I was probably got an answer about it today, but So I guess that's gonna be another part of the equation, because not only do we put the fee on the water meters, we have to take it off of the landlines.
That'd be an administrative action, just some sort of communication with them.
Right.
Because this will repeal the earlier one.
Yeah, this repeals it.
Yes.
So that would give you leave, I think, as the chief administrative officer, to direct it be taken off because the ordinance is being repealed at that point, if we pass this.
Yeah.
Right. But that was the issue, was it's undoing is probably harder than doing it.
That's what I said, yeah.
It just takes some time.
Yeah, well, they would have 90 days
Yeah.
from the date of the inception of their January 1st.
Well, and that's the question, do we want to, because once you implement the fees on water meters, then it'll be collected, I believe, quarterly is the easiest way to do it. So do you want to remove the landline fee immediately, or do you want to transition?
I would think you will continuously go, if you remove it in January, in February, it comes on the other. So you're not missing any. I mean, that's just coordination between you and the two, and the entities, the three water companies and the phone company. It's just a coordination.
We actually have 5 water companies.
In Clark County?
Yes, we do.
Well, I didn't know that, I thought it was 3.
We have, of course, WMU.
Oh, we got the one from Mount Sterling as well.
2 of them.
Yeah, that's what I
We
did.
have, in Montgomery County, we have Judy and
Yeah.
Reed.
That's right, yeah, I forgot about them.
And they've got some Clark County customers.
Reed
I forgot
has
about that.
61, roughly. Judy has 200.
Just coordination issue, just
Okay.
notify them and proceed, I would think. Go ahead and, you might go ahead and correspond with them, and see what's happening.
Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. B is the second reading of the ordinance approving zoning change at 710 and 740 Hecton Road.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number C is approval of this second reading of the ordinance approving a zoning change at 385 Flanagan Station Road.
Motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is magistrate comments.
One comment that I have is I noticed that, based on our last conversation that we had with Mr. Jeffries, with planning and zoning, they were able to get that set up to where it was on our YouTube channel, and I want to appreciate them.
It was?
It was, yep, it was on there, and,
On the physical.
Yeah.
yeah, but it, on the video, it does clearly say the meeting date of planning and zoning, so that was something that we all kind of agreed to help increase transparency and so public can see what was said in those meetings without any questions. So hopefully moving forward, we can get some of those other meetings like order of adjustments and so forth on there, but I just want to say thank you for them making that happen. So, and other than that, that's all I've got.
I'd like to commend the road department for their cleanup during the hurricane. I live in the county, still have, trees were swerving around up and down the state road for the road department, for the county. In less than 24 hours, had all the roads open, cleaned up. They need to be commended for what they did during that hurricane. Thanks to Magistrate Blanton for the presentation to Tim Smith. He's all near and dear to our heart, and I know that meant a lot to him. One question I had as we went through today's meeting is the Fair Board is a nonprofit. So would they not qualify for the community funds?
They could buy it.
They could. And do we not have some community funds? It's in the treasury report that we haven't expended, that we.
There's a little bit.
Not much.
1,000 something.
I mean, like a few $100.
There's probably a carryover from last year. I don't know.
You should have the exact
She
number.
can get us the
Well,
exact
it's got a
number.
separate bank account, so she.
Yeah, she can get us the exact number.
There was a carryover from last year though, right?
But there was some carryover from previous years as well, so.
Yeah, remember when we had to divide out those accounts?
Yes.
They were using appropriations to
Seemed like it
account for it.
might have been $4,000. I don't remember. She can get us a number.
As close to those repairs.
And then, the Red River Road Bridge, Judge, you made mention at the last meeting that you were emailing every 3 days. Can you give us any updates?
I have not gotten any, I cannot get any concrete answers from CSX.
I mean, how often are we talking to them?
Every week, I send the guy an email every week.
Can you share those responses?
I haven't gotten one.
You haven't gotten a response. Have we mailed them any letters or drafted anything from the county attorney, maybe? Put them on notice?
I'll discuss it with him.
It's over the 30 days that, that was originally mentioned that these people are trapped. We're just kind of at a standstill with no communication with the owner of the bridge. It doesn't seem like we'll have a resolution without communication. Thank you.
History of Craycraft.
I don't want to just reiterate, but I did want to let you know that we had several constituents contact me, and they were very impressed with how quickly you guys got things cleaned up out there. I think that was a big thing for people in the county, but I just got several calls on that, so.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Judge. Well, first, I want to thank also the road department for their actions. I'm sure probably there were calls the fire department received as well, and appreciate all they do. Of course, prayers for, again, for all of our friends in Florida. Many of us have friends and family members down there, but even if you don't, they're about to have a traumatic experience in the next few days. May cause unbelievable amounts of damage from everything we're hearing, but we'll hope for the best, pray for the best there. But Judge, I don't want to belabor this too much, but I think it's incumbent on me to address some of the things that were spoken about in the earlier public comment by Mr. Mayor on behalf, I assume on behalf of this Clark Coalition. I did appear as a private citizen and in my capacity as a citizen, although I'm a member of this court, in the September Planning and Zoning meeting. The reason for that is, and I don't oftentimes have time in the evenings, but I wanted to attend that meeting because it's been on my mind for months, and I've spoken about the issue. Housing affordability and availability of housing, it is a crisis. Anybody that is in or around real estate can tell you, I mean, there's an absolute shortage of affordable homes for new home buyers, for young people, rental property, you name it. So I appeared at the meeting, I spoke in public comment as anybody can do. Let me just say this, I didn't appear before that body on behalf of the fiscal court. I happen to be a magistrate. I'm also a citizen. And we've had magistrates appear before bodies before. We will again, I'm sure. And as a matter of fact, in the very next meeting, another member of this court appeared in planning zone and spoke as to a proposed development plan. And that was his right to do that. It's absolute right to do that as a citizen. So I want to address that first. I didn't speak on behalf of anybody but myself and my own concerns. What I asked the Planning Commission to do as a body was to consider anything that would make the availability of houses and construction of new homes more efficient, streamline the planning process, the zoning process, to make that amenable to investors. To make it investor friendly, make it a little easier to get through the process. I mentioned, and I actually gave credit to the city for the efforts they've made in the last few years to demolish, tear down derelict buildings, decrepit buildings. And in turn, that's created a lot of vacant property in the city of Winchester. I am very much in favor of infill development, but if you talk to anybody, and as a matter of fact, I got a call yesterday from somebody who's done a lot of infill development in Lexington. Anybody who's done that can attest to the fact that it can be a very cumbersome, very difficult, expensive process. There's zone changes involved, there's permitting involved, many times there's environmental issues with property that's been commercial or industrial, you name it. But the whole purpose of my appearing before the commission that night was to just urge them to look at the plan, the ordinance rather, the code that we operate under, and come up with a way to streamline that, and then take that to planning, take that to fiscal court, city commission. We may not like what they come up with. At that point, the city commission, or excuse me, the planning commission, through its chairman, and the chairman nominated, appointed a three-person subcommittee to look at that. And coincidentally, he had actually brought that up in the August meeting. Now, it was, they put out there that maybe my idea for the committee, or that I pushed that. I did not. The chairman had already brought that up in a prior meeting, and then went through with that in the September meeting. And I think that's very encouraging. I think it's an excellent step. I did ask Mr. Jeffries to send the ordinance, planning ordinance, to all the court members and the city commission. I think we've all gotten it. I don't know about the city commission, but we're hoping to have. So if anybody, any member of this body, that body, has any ideas, thoughts, anything you want added, repealed, amended, to do that. That was all part of that overall discussion that night. If anybody looks at the totality of what I said that night, I don't think any reasonable person could conclude that I wanted to do away with planning and zoning. Now, the do away with quote, obviously that was taken out of context. I'm not walking back any comment. There's no reason for me to walk back anything. Maybe a reason for me to explain what something meant in the process of looking at an ordinance, as we've done many times. There may be things we amend, and may be things we add, and may be things that are eliminated. And I mean by things, I mean provisions, subsections, language, whatever the case may be. But at no time could any reasonable person conclude that I advocated for. And I know I think enough about the law that I wouldn't be going to that body to ask them to make a recommendation to do away with planning and zoning. I know full well where that would start. In this body, across the street in city commission. So it's an absurdity to suggest that I would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission and suggest to them that they need to study on eliminating planning and zoning. That is an absolute misrepresentation of what was said that night and what was discussed. And when he made that accusation after I spoke of comment, I clarified that night to the commission and anybody else concerned that I in no way was advocating getting rid of planning and zoning or getting rid of the ordinance in full. So I thought that would be the end of it, but you know, this certainly has all the hallmarks of how the Clark Coalition approaches public policy, unfortunately. And I would suggest to the board of that coalition that they seriously reconsider how they approach policy discussions, because this is not the way to do it. And in closing, Judge, if you'll bear with me, earlier this morning, I understand Mr. Robert Gullett, who's the attorney for the Planning Commission and is a distinguished attorney in his field, has practiced for many years in Jessamine County, represents the Clark County Winchester Planning Commission, delivered a letter, Judge, to you and all the magistrates. And I'm going to read this for the public to hopefully clear up any misunderstanding that anybody may have due to what the coalition has put out there. I'm going to also ask this be entered into the record. Dear Judge Yates and magistrates, it's come to my attention that a letter dated October 3rd, 2024 has been circulated by the Clark Coalition regarding events that allegedly occurred during the September 3rd Planning Commission meeting. As attorney for that body, I feel compelled to address this matter in an effort to correct the record regarding what happened on the evening in question. In order to fully understand the situation, one needs to know that the members of the Planning Commission place a high value on public opinion. Toward that end, they fashion rules which encourages public comment and debate on the matters which are brought before them. Additionally, the Planning Commission dedicates a specific time near the beginning of each meeting to hear the concerns or questions that are posed by members of the public on matters which are not agenda items for that particular meeting. When that portion of the September 3rd meeting occurred, Magistrate Chris Davis rose to speak briefly with the Commission. Mr. Davis spoke of his own concerns regarding affordable housing in the county. It probably should be noted that he did not represent that he was speaking on behalf of the Clark County Fiscal Court. As soon as Mr. Davis's comments concluded, another audience member took his own opportunity to speak, and he responded. To be candid, I thought at the time that he had evidently misunderstood the initial comments, and now that I have read the Clark Coalition letter, I know that he did. At no time did Mr. Davis call for the elimination of the Planning Commission, nor did he make any comment which could reasonably be interpreted or even insinuated that this was his desire. Evidently, I was not alone in my interpretation of his comments, inasmuch as the official minutes of that meeting recorded his remarks as follows. 5th District Magistrate Chris Davis addressed the commissioners on the need for housing. He suggested the commissioners look at ways in which the zoning ordinances could be modernized to make the process investor-friendly and cost-effective. In conclusion, I hope this letter helps to clarify what really happened during the September 3rd Planning Commission meeting. Mr. Davis addressed the commission in his individual capacity about his concerns regarding affordable housing for the people of Clark County. Additionally, he made suggestions concerning modernization of the existing regulations, a matter which the commission had been discussing for several months. Personally, I thought his comments were appropriate and his suggestions were both helpful and positive. Mr. Davis was not the first magistrate to grace our meeting with his presence, and hopefully he will not be the last. In fact, each of you should attend occasionally in order to see what a great planning commission Clark County has. Yours very truly, Robert L. Gold, Jr. Judge, I'm going to pass this down. You'll have that, Madam Clerk. Ask that to be entered into the record in response to what has transpired this week. Judge, that's all I'm going to say about the matter. I wish the subcommittee the best of luck. I'm encouraged and excited to see what they take to the Planning Commission, what the Planning Commission decides to advance to us and the City Commission about doing some updates to the ordinance and to the code, and I appreciate having the time. Thank you, sir.
Just two things. First, I want to thank the staff for helping me put together this proclamation and the video and all that. I do appreciate that so much. And then just secondly, just a reminder that the November meeting will not be the 13th, it will be the 12th, the Tuesday, so that there's no conflict with the CACO meeting. I think there was some confusion when we changed it earlier in the year, but it'll be Tuesday instead of Wednesday morning. That's all.
And then Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
That's good.
Of course, Thanksgiving as well. That's pretty normal there.
Judge, I do have one thing I failed to mention. I learned this morning that I think we lost a deputy sheriff, and I think we need to remember him in our thoughts and prayers. I just found out about the great courthouse, but we need to remember him.
We lost Robert Webb, who's a longtime deputy, long time. He was at the sheriff's office when I first came in 18 years ago. He left at one time after about 10 years. He got injured on duty, blew his knee out. Didn't think he'd never come back. Was gone for a while. Then he came back for a few years as a neighbor, and left them for a year or so, and went to Essex County. That's where he lived at. Started his career there at Urban PD. Robert was doing school security, police officer there, and he came back to me almost 2 years ago. Probably the last 2 years, happiest of his career, as he told me. Dedicated Christian, suddenly. He diagnosed with a very, very terrible illness 2.5 months ago. And, we lost him suddenly Monday night. So keep him and his family in prayers. Just a great human being, not just a deputy, a great human being. Everybody loved him, the world of him. We'll remember him forever. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Sheriff, I think is there a memorial fundraiser that's happening?
Yes.
Saw Mr. Humphreys posted something about that.
Yes, there'll be a fundraiser, car show, I think it's November the 9th, Magistrate Davis. It's gonna be over in West Bend. Had a lot of, things donated to be raffled, bid on, even a 1939 restored tractor. So it should be a big event. We'll put something out as we get a little closer. Hope everyone can come over there and support the effort for his family.
I just got a couple things. So I'm clear on what we're going to do here. So back in the transfers, we transferred 35, some money from the ARPA fund into the jail fund. Now, the last time we did that, we had to pay it back. Is that still in place? Because the reason I'm asking it becomes a debt once if we're required to put it, transfer it back to the ARPA fund. And the reason I'm saying that is because right now, in the general fund, we could meet payroll and do the pre-authorizing the bills list, but as of today, there's not enough money to pay the retirement. So it looks like there may be a late fee on retirement. And in the jail, this transfer covers, the jail could meet payroll, and this transfer covers the bills list, but we're still short on their retirement also. So to catch us up to date today, we're short about 130,000. So we're watching to see how much comes in, but there's a good chance there may be another special meeting before the next meeting. Any thoughts on comments? Okay.
I think we've had those comments.
I didn't hear that included personally. Sir, I didn't hear anybody make that or motion to approve the transfer of those in there, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I think that you suppose the problem that really doesn't exist yet, at least with respect to that transfer. So then the question might be, what do you want to do about the rest of it?
Thank you. But anyway, that's all I had. Next meeting is Thursday, October 24th at 5:30. And next item on the agenda is adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Yes.